A big, fat, juicy, wholesale novation deal. That's the topic of today's show. This is Todd Toback, and I want to welcome you to the No Limits Real Estate Investing Podcast. If this is your first time listening to the show and you have not been to our website, I've got a gift for you. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. And there you could download a copy of the very same script that we use in our business, the one that I've used to lock over for 1,300 deals, word for word, line by line. And once you use this, you're going to know whether you've got a motivated seller or not. So this is my gift to you. Go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. Now, in my last show, I talked about the new strategy, the hottest strategy, the one that you must be implementing in this market. And believe me, the market is changing, right? Strategy called the novation, where you could take a property and lock it up under contract with a motivated seller and sell that property to a retail buyer. And if you have not listened to that show, I highly recommend that you listen to the last one that I published here on the Wink podcast. But I can tell you what, I want to reiterate that the time is now. I wish I knew about this strategy when I first got started in real estate. And let me just destroy some misconceptions here. For you to do novation, you do not need any experience. You do not need to understand complicated legal paperwork. You do not need a ton of money. You do not need to have done a ton of deals. As a matter of fact, you are better off learning how to do deals this way from the beginning. And as I talked about in my last show, I actually pretty much structured my first deal just like this. And guess what? I made big money. I actually made $80,000 on that deal. I actually split it with a partner. I didn't know what I was doing back then. So I put 40 in my pocket. But either way, look, you could put $30, $40, $80,000 in your pocket if you do what I'm telling you. So I want you to just put your guard down, release any kind of misconceptions you have about this business, okay, and learn what I'm about to share with you. Because again, I've done over 1,300 deals. I've been investing for over 20 years, and I've never seen an opportunity like we have before us right now. We have competition who's actually leaving the market. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to adapt. They don't know how to, move with the market, all right? But because you are listening to the show, okay, you are a doer. You're a learner. Okay, you're going to make sure that this happens. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do a novation case study. I'm going to talk about a big, fat, juicy deal that we're working on right now in our business. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. And at the end of this, I'm going to show you actually how to get even more free training from Brent Daniels and I. We're doing actually an event, a live webinar that I'm going to share with you here at the end of this show. Before we jump into today's show, I always like to start with good news, people making things happen in real estate, listeners and coaching clients who are making things happen. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to play that good news and then get right into our case study. So let's go ahead and play that.
I logged up 2 juicy deals. One of them is a 4-pack. It's 5-pack. I'm going to keep 1 and sell 4. So like 70,000. That's what I'm expecting to make. The second one is a $15,000 deal.
So that was sent in from Kapil out of Indiana, man. Woo! You hear a $70,000 deal and a $20,000 deal. That's what he says on the on his coaching recording. So that is just smoking. So I can tell you what, if I can do it, if Kapil could do it, you can do it. So let's get ready to roll. So I explained in my last podcast that a novation is where we lock a property up for below market value. And we work with a motivated seller, someone who's got a problem. And because of that, they're willing to trade some equity for some speed and convenience. Okay, they're willing to sell their house below what it's worth on the open market. Okay, we go into contract with them to purchase a property. We then take that property with permission from the seller, written permission to market that property, to list on the multiple listing service, to inspect, to have access, right? And they do this because they're flexible and they're motivated, right? That's what I do when I'm motivated. I'm flexible. We go and then we deal with a broker, someone who we've built a relationship with. And I meant that someone that, you can build a relationship with in an hour. He will then market that property for us and help us find a retail buyer. Someone who can get a loan, someone who's going to live in it, someone who doesn't need to make a profit on that deal. And we then are going to step out of that contract. we're going to allow the buyer to enter into an agreement with the seller, and we are going to accept, basically, legally, a buyout fee for stepping out of the agreement. Okay, if you want to know more exactly the exact mechanics, go ahead and listen to the last episode that I published here on the Wink podcast, where I really talked about the strategy you must be using in today's market. I want to reiterate, by the way, if you are brand new listening to this, right, you can do these deals. You should be doing these deals if you want to make the most amount of money possible. Okay, now let's talk about a case study. Okay. A deal that we're working on. So right now we got a deal, and it actually came from an old school marketing method, came from a marketing piece, a mail piece. It was a postcard. And this postcard, it was big, it was pink, and it said, "I'm interested in buying your house." Okay, now all wholesaling starts with marketing. You've got to generate leads every single day, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. Do not overcomplicate this business. Okay, if you're cold calling, that's a form of marketing. Okay, but you have people calling you. The list that we got it from was a tax default list, someone who was behind on their taxes. And they said, "Hey, listen, we've just inherited this property. We live in Rhode Island. We own a nice condo in Florida, and we want to sell it." So the seller sent us pictures of the place, and it was in decent condition. It's actually on the water, right? But it was dated, a little dirty, some of the paint is chipping, otherwise totally livable, totally livable. So this is what's interesting. We get the house under contract. Okay, what I mean under contract is we sign a purchase agreement to purchase with the seller for $165,000, and it's worth about $250,000 if it's all fixed up and all done up. And we look at our cash buyers because we know that, for them to get that $250,000, they're going to have to put in $30,000, $45,000 to get that $250,000 number. So if you add the $165,000 plus $35,000, right? If they have to do that fix up, the deal for them isn't that good. It's hard to make money there, at least a lot, take on the risk with the changing market. So we took a look at it and said, "Hey, listen, we could still make money here, right? A retail buyer, someone who wants to live in the property, would love this place." And so what we did was we got a 60-day close with the seller. You can get 90. And we told them that we were going to market the place, right? We told them that we were going to clean it up, right? Do a little patches of paint here real quick. And we had that permission, right? I'm talking like little to no money, a couple $100. We then, marketed that property with a broker, whom we had a relationship with. When I say had a relationship with, you can do that too, right? You have a conversation, you call some brokers in there, and I'll show you how to do this on other episodes too. I'll go into detail on that. Super easy though. You just go to them and say, "Will you market this property?" Because they will get a commission. You're going to pay them a commission at the closing. You don't need to pay them up front. They market the property. Now, right now, as we speak, offers are coming in, for this place. $209,000, $215,000. Okay, now you notice it's less than that $250,000, right? But I have this place under contract for $165,000. There's a spread there between the $165,000, right, and the $210,000. Let's say we only sell it for $210,000. I now, once we decide on an offer, I now am going to connect the buyer and the seller. Before I do that, though, we're just about to call the seller and say, "Mr. Seller," by the way, we've pretty much anchored them, but we're going to say, "Good news, Mr. Seller. We're still going to close. You're going to get exactly what we promised you. Okay, but our funding is going to come from our new buyer. Okay, I want to be clear that you are still going to get that $165,000 that I promised you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you over an agreement. It's called a net proceeds agreement, and this is going to tell you that you're going to reaffirm that you are going to make that $165,000. You're going to sign that, okay? What that also says is that you are going to enter into a regular purchase contract, a new contract with my new buyers so that they could get their funding, okay? The price is going to be higher. You're going to see a price on there. It's going to be it's going to be for $210,000, but you're going to net your $165,000. I anchor the seller. They understand that. We send over the paperwork. They sign that new purchase contract with the buyer. Yes, with the buyer, direct. Now, they sign that. We take that agreement over to the title company, explain what's going on, right? And that The seller's going to net 165, new buyer's coming in, going to pay 210, right? I'm going to net that difference. Okay, they'll understand what's going on, right? Lay that out. Sometimes they make you send an invoice or like a bill or a sheet of paper that says what you're owed, right? No problem, right? You write that up, you send that in, and now on this deal, we're going to make about $30,000 or $35,000 in our pockets. Okay, this is a deal that's happening right now as we speak. I've done these many times. If I can do these, you can do these. Now, let me go over some self-limiting beliefs here, right? First of all, you may be thinking, Todd, why the heck is a buyer going to let you market the property? Why are they going to let you put on the multiple listing service? Why are they going to let you fix it? Don't they want to make that money themselves? And the answer is, yes, they will allow you to do this, but no, they don't want to do that money. They don't want to do this themselves. Think about it. If they wanted to do this themselves, they would have. But for some reason, they're calling that postcard, or they're talking to you on this cold call, or they answered that text message, or you got a lead off the internet. Whatever, they're looking for you. They're looking for speed. They're looking for convenience, and they want this problem handled. And so you are going to take care of this for them. The next thing is, Todd, are they going to care that you're going to market the property, do the work? Like, aren't they going to get second thoughts? And the answer is, most likely, no. Could it happen? Sure. I can tell you what, though, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. Because number one, the seller has agreed to it up front, right? But number two is that they actually take you more seriously, right? If you go into a property and let's say you clean it out or there's activity on it and they see buyers walking in and out, that actually tells them that you're going to get the deal done, right? It's less likely if all of a sudden you do a deal and everything's quiet and they don't see you marketing. That's when actually sellers get nervous. And so at the end of the day, when you call them and you tell them that you're making a profit and they sign that paperwork, right, they'll see that profit. And maybe do they feel a little weird feeling when they see that for a second? Yeah, for a second. But guess what? Most likely, 9 times out of 10, most of the time, in my experience, they want their money. That seller wants that 165, so they're going to sign, they're going to do the deal, they're going to collect your paycheck, you're going to collect your $30,000, that big, fat, juicy check. Okay, and now you do it again. And the seller moves on. They're going to leave you a positive review on Google, and everybody's happy. I can tell you this stuff works. You just got to believe it does. You got to take just massive action. You got to run like a rhino. Okay, damn the torpedoes, as all the Wink coaches like to say here on the Wink podcast, and make that happen. Let me tell you what, if you want a special training on this, Brent Daniels and I, another one of the Wink coaches here, we're doing a special training just on this special novation strategy specifically. You've got to employ this. If you're brand new, you've got to be doing this right now. If you've been making money in real estate and you want to pivot in the market, you've got to be on this training. Okay, go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/DTR. nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/DTR. I hope to see you there. Okay, and I will talk to you on the next episode.